Medieval India, the Delhi Sultanate, Part 2, page number 61. Deccan and the South India. Even before completing the subjugation of Rajasthan, Alauddin had conquered Malwa, which says Amir Khusro was so extensive that even wise geographers were unable to delimit its frontiers. Unlike Rajasthan, Malwa was brought under direct administration and a governor was appointed to look after it. In 1306 and 7, Alauddin planned two campaigns. The first was against Rai Karan, who, after his expulsion from Gujarat, had been holding Baglana on border of the Malwa. Rai Karan fought bravely, but he could not resist for long. The second expedition was aimed against Rai Ramchandra, the ruler of Deogir, who had been in alliance with Rai Karan. In an earlier campaign, Rai Ramchandra had agreed to pay an yearly tribute to Delhi. This had fallen into arrears. The command of the second army was entrusted to Alauddin's slave Malik Kafur. Rai Ramchandra, who surrendered to Kafur, was honorably treated and carried to Delhi, where after some time he was restored to his dominions with the title of Rai Rayan. A gift of 1 lakh Tughlaqs was given to him along with a golden colored canopy, which was a symbol of rulership. He was also given a district of Gujarat. One of his daughters was married to Alauddin. The alliance with Rai Ramchandra was to prove to be of great value to Alauddin in his future aggrandizement in the Deccan. Between 1309 and 1311, Malik Kafur led two campaigns in South India. The first against Warangal in the Telangana area and the other against Dwar Samudra and Mabar, modern Karnataka, and Madurai, Tamil Nadu. A great deal has been written about these expeditions, partly because they struck the imagination of the contemporaries. The court poet Amir Khusro made them the subject of a book. These campaigns reflected boldness, self-confidence, and a high degree of a spirit of adventure on the part of Delhi rulers. For the first time, Muslim armies penetrated as far as Madurai and brought back untold wealth. They provided first-hand information about conditions of the south, though they hardly provided any fresh geographical knowledge. The trade routes of South India were all known, and when Kafur's armies reached Patan in Mabar, they found a colony of Muslim merchants settled there. The ruler even had a contingent of Muslim troops in his army. These expeditions greatly raised Kafur in public estimation, and Alauddin appointed him as Malik Naib or Vice Regent of Empire. Politically, however, the effects of these campaigns were limited. Kafur was able to force the rulers of Warangal and Dwar Samudra to sue for peace, to surrender all their treasures and elephants, and to promise an annual tribute. But it was all well known that to secure these tributes, an annual campaign would be needed. In the case of Mabar, even this formal agreement was not forthcoming. The rulers there had avoided a pitched battle. Kafur had plundered as much as he could, including a number of wealthy temples, such as those at Chidambaram near modern Madras, but he had to return to Delhi without being able to defeat the Tamil armies. Despite the troubles following the death of Alauddin, within a decade and a half of his death, all southern kingdoms mentioned above were wiped out, and their territories brought under direct administration of Delhi. Alauddin himself was not in favor of direct administration of the southern states. However, the change in this policy had begun in his own lifetime. In 1315, Rai Ramchandra, who had remained steadily loyal to Delhi, died, and his sons threw off the yoke of Delhi. Died Malik Kafur quickly came and crushed the rebellion and assumed direct administration of the area. However, many outlying areas declared themselves independent, while a few remained under the control of the descendants of the Rai. On succeeding to the throne, Mubarak Shah subdued Deogir again and installed a Muslim governor there. He also raided Warangal and compelled the ruler to cede one of his districts and pay him annual tribute of 40 gold bricks. Khusro Khan, a slave of Sultan, made a plundering raid into the Mabar and sacked the rich city of Patan. No conquests were made in the area. Following the accession of Ghias-ud-din Tughlaq in 1320, a sustained and a vigorous forward policy was embarked upon. The Sultan's son, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, was posted to Deogir for the purpose. On the excuse that the ruler of Warangal had not paid the stipulated tribute, Muhammad bin Tughlaq besieged Warangal again. At first, he suffered a reverse, following a rumor of the Sultan's death in Delhi. The Delhi armies were disorganized and the defenders fell upon them, inflicting heavy losses. Muhammad bin Tughlaq had to retreat to Deogir. After reorganizing his armies, he attacked again, and this time no quarter was given to Rai. This was followed by the conquest of Mabar, which was also annexed. Muhammad bin Tughlaq then raided Odisha and returned to Delhi with rich plunder. Next year, he subdued Bengal, which had been independent since the death of Balban. Thus, by 1324, the territories of Delhi Sultanate reached up to Madurai. The last Hindu principality in the area, Kampili in South Karnataka, was annexed in 1328. A cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq who had rebelled had been given shelter there, thus providing a convenient excuse for attacking it. The sudden expansion of Delhi Sultanate to the far south and to the east, including Odisha, created tremendous administrative and financial problems which had to be faced by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. We shall now turn to the study of manner in which he tried to cope with these problems and the strains which it imposed on the Sultanate itself. Internal reforms and experiments. By the time Alauddin Khilji came to the throne, the position of Delhi Sultanate was fairly well consolidated in the central portion of the empire, that is, the portion comprising of the Upper Ganga Valley and eastern Rajasthan. This emboldened the sultans to undertake a series of internal reforms and experiments aimed at improving the administration, strengthening the army, and to gear up the machinery of land revenue administration, and to take steps to expand and improve cultivation and to provide the welfare of the citizens in the rapidly expanding towns. Not all the measures were successful, but they mark important new departures. Some of the experiments failed on account of lack of experience, some because they were not well conceived or on account of opposition of vested interests. They do, however, show that the Turkish state had now acquired a measure of stability and it was no longer concerned merely with warfare and law and order. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with market control and agrarian policy of Alauddin. All the best for exams, and do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Thank you everyone.